Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading continuation from the Bhagavad-Gita as it is by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In my edition of Bhagavad-Gita here, it's on page 453. Chapter 10, text 10 of the chapter Opulence, the opulence of the Absolute. You have Bhagavad-Gitas? You have more Bhagavad-Gitas there? Maybe you like to have? You have a smartphone? Good. You really have a smartphone. Otherwise, if you don't have Bhagavad-Gita in your smartphone, it's not a smartphone. Te sam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Word for word, meaning Tesam, unto them, satata yuktanam, always engaged, bhajatam, in rendering devotional service, priti purvakam, in loving ecstasy, dadami, I give, buddhi yogam, real intelligence, tam, that, yena, by which, mam, unto me, upayanti, come, te, day. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada K. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Everybody please repeat. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So this is the third of the Chatur-sloki Bhagavad-Gita. Purport. There are 4 verses that summarizes the whole Bhagavad-Gita. And this is the third one. The next verse will be the last one. So purport. In this verse, the word buddhi yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord, instructing Arjuna, said that He had spoken to him of many things and that He would instruct him in the way of buddhi yoga. Now, buddhi yoga is explained. Buddhi yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence. And yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called buddhi yoga. In other words, buddhi yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed. and the ultimate goal is achieved. When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculations to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. The qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport, chapter 10, text 10 of the Bhagavad-Gita as it is. Om Jnanantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvya evacha patitanam pavanevyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. What's in the bottom of the Bhagavad-Gita? Your what? Your child. Good. Good boy. Because the Bhagavad-Gita is none different than Lord Krishna. Lakshmi also, we should not put on the floor. It's good. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So, here, this chapter actually is called Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti Yoga means opulence. Understanding the opulences of the Supreme Lord. In few chapters, a couple or 3 chapters previous to this, the gunas and vibhutis, the qualities and opulences of the Supreme Lord, are described. But specifically in this chapter, the opulence of the Absolute. It is hereby explained that when one comes to the point of understanding the opulences of the Supreme Lord, then he surrenders to the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. That is the conclusion. So that's why knowledge is very important also. But bhakti doesn't depend on knowledge. It depends on one's sincerity. What does sincerity means? Anyone? When you say, oh, that devotee is very sincere, what does it mean? Anyone? Serious. Yeah, oh, serious, sincere, serious. What else?
Without false show.
Not pretentious. Another way of saying sincere means no self-motivation, no self-interest. Is sincere. When we say that person is sincere, even though he may not be knowledgeable, in the Bhagavad-Gita, we've heard that story, right? From Brahmana from South India, who was given the instruction from his Guru Maharaj to read the Bhagavad-Gita. He's not really completely illiterate. He knows a little bit, but then he just cries because whenever he sees the Supreme Lord, the picture of Lord Krishna driving the chariot of his devotee, Parthasarthi, a chariot driver, then he would cry. He would actually become emotional, understanding this nature of the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord, from within our heart, Paramatma, He is all-pervading, everywhere, in every nook and corner of the material creation. Brahman also, the Brahma Jyoti is also present, but not all in every nook and corner. The effulgence coming from the transcendental form or the body of the Supreme Lord, from the spiritual world. That's why in the spiritual world there's no need of sunlight, there's no need of moonlight, there's no need of electricity, because of the effulgence of the body of the Supreme Lord. It permeates also everywhere, but specifically the Paramatma within our hearts, who is present. This is what he called Chaitya Guru. I know one devotee from Mauritius. His name is Chaitya Guru Prabhu. So Chaitya Guru, he instructs us from inside, Paramatma, and he gives us intelligence as well if we are sincere. One may not know the knowledge from the Bhagavad-Gita, but one has to take up the process in such a way that he needs a guru. To become a pure devotee, you need to take guidance and instruction from a pure devotee. No one becomes a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord without getting association or getting knowledge orally. It says oral reception. Without the being submissive. This is the secret. In order for one to become a pure devotee, you have to be submissive. You cannot be challenging. One can be a guru. It's like nowadays it is a fashion to have a spiritual master. Oh, you have a spiritual master? Oh yes, I want to have a spiritual master also. Then I will just choose whoever is the most charismatic, who is the most popular. One can have guru hopping. Oh, I like him today. I've seen another person tomorrow. The next day, let me take shelter of him. Oh, no, he has some defects because he's judging. One cannot judge a realized person through one's external appearance. The spiritual master is the one who is 24-hour engaged in Krishna consciousness, and he knows the conclusion of the Vedas. He's surrendered. He's surrendered. 100% surrendered unto the Supreme Lord. He is a bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord. It's not external. So this Buddhi Yogam is mentioned many places in the Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and even in lectures of about Lord Krishna by Srila Prabhupada. So, yes, Buddhi Yoga means intelligence, yoga of intelligence. That intelligence means understanding Lord Krishna. And Prabhupada says there is no difference between Buddhi Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Actually, Buddhi Yoga means Bhakti Yoga. There are many kinds of yoga. Yoga means to link up, to become in union, to be connected between the Supreme Lord and the living beings, especially in human form of life. So nowadays there are many kinds of yoga. There is hot yoga, there is cold yoga, there is snow yoga, there is beer yoga, or wine yoga. They will do a little bit of pose, hatha, like exercise, and then they will sip a little bit of wine, and then they will do a little bit more of like a pretzel, and then sip a little bit, and then by the end of the session, sleeping. That's not yoga. Yoga means realizing one's identity and understanding the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, and be able to ultimately talk with Him. Because He's a person. The Supreme Lord is a person. We're also a person. It's like right now, I'm communicating with you. But for others, they don't see it that way. For them, it's like exercising their mind. Jnana. Reading without guru, and then start to speculate. It's like you go to Loy Bazaar, you go to a store there called Rasa Bihari Lal. You been there? You been to Loy Bazaar? Okay. So many books there, just translation after translation after translation. You can buy them, you can read them, but luckily if you actually know a little bit of Sanskrit, you may understand a little bit. But real knowledge can be only given from a realized soul. We should hear. It's like many people come to holy places like Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, and they come to those holy places to become purified. They will go and take bath in the holy river. But if they miss to see or meet a bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord and hear from Him directly, then it is not complete. His coming to the holy Dham. Going to holy places actually is to meet or hear from a holy person, saintly person, a pure devotee of the Lord. And in that way, any doubts that one may have can be dissipated, can be uprooted, can be nullified. So Buddhi Yogam is very significant in this verse. Dadhami Buddhi Yogam. Actually, starting from the 8th sloka up to 11th sloka, this explains about pure devotees of the Lord. And who is a pure devotee of the Lord? A pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, he is engaged 24 hours a day with his mind, body, words, and his very self. Atmani Vedanam. Fully surrender. So it's like before this verse, there's what you call Ramanti. Ramanti. Enjoy transcendental bliss. Tushyanti. Ramanti cha. Become pleased. Matchita matgata prana means the mind is fully engaged in me. A neophyte devotee, his mind is not fully engaged in Krishna. His mind is diverted. There is this verse, Vaya Vasayatmika Buddhi Ekaha Kurunandana. This is the verse that made Srila Prabhupada become determined and focused in fulfilling his Guru Maharaj's instruction by using his intelligence, buddhi. Now Krishna gives this knowledge from within. This buddhi means intelligence, action in Krishna consciousness. So as we were mentioning earlier, one can also perform karma yoga, but their focus is more for fruitive gain. Now there is another chapter here, 2 chapters of karma yoga. There is one karma yoga and there is another one, karma yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Especially many of our devotees who are grihastas, they are engaged in activities whereby they have to work or be with non-devotees in order to maintain their family, in order to make the 2 ends meet. They have to earn a living and they have to somehow be with the materialist. So if one also act in such a way that Prabhupada gave an example, it's like 2 personalities. One is a materialist and one is a devotee, and both of them will be going to work. The materialist will go to work, but his purpose of going to work is to gain or earn money so that he'll be able to fulfill his material desires. And then the devotee will come to work. He'll do the same thing, exactly the same, work the same thing. But the devotee's purpose of going to work is that to maintain his family, his grihasta ashram, and therefore he may earn the same amount of money just like the materialist, but he will use and divide the fruits of his activities in Krishna consciousness. So that's Buddhi Yoga. That's Buddhi Yoga. Using one's intelligence. He may not have, his work doesn't have really, not necessarily have connection with Krishna, but because of the fruits, through his intelligence, he knew how to connect it with Krishna, to use it for Krishna's service. So that is the highest intelligence. Buddhi Yoga. The scientists also, they have intelligence, but as Prabhupada says in one of the conversation. He had a conversation with some of his disciples, and his disciple was kind of like posing as the scientist. He says, is this Krishna consciousness science or belief? Science means there is a conclusion. It's like we went to school or college or even, in high school, and we had an experiment, right? There is a procedure how to do. The teacher, he knows the conclusion. You cannot work your way around. He knows if you're cheating, or he knows if you're shortcut, or so. Prabhupada says this Krishna consciousness is a science, and then the disciple says, no, this is a belief. And Prabhupada says, if you say that your science is a science, then our Krishna consciousness process is also a science. Real science, because there is a conclusion. When one follows the process sincerely, then he will attain pure love of God. Krishna Prem. More specific is Braja Prem. That same devotees, associates of the Supreme Lord, is experiencing. And that's why called Ramanti. Ramanti cha. They're in transcendental bliss. Tushyanti Ramanti cha. They all become pleased and enjoying transcendental bliss. But one has to follow the process. One has to follow. The process is being chalked out by the previous acharyas. The process is given to us. It's like spoon feeding. We don't have to invent anything new. We just have to take it up as it is, and ultimately we'll come to the point where we'll be able to realize the same knowledge from the disciplic succession, because the knowledge itself is coming from Lord Krishna himself. The knowledge of the modern day education is not really knowledge, it's not really intelligence, because it is what is called relative. There are two kinds of knowledge: relative knowledge and absolute knowledge. Lord Krishna is a source of this knowledge, therefore it is absolute. As Krishna is absolute, therefore this knowledge is also absolute. Ultimately, we'll come to the understanding of complete knowledge. But the materialists, the academics these days, is not really... it's like every year they have a new textbook in school. The textbooks that they use, next year you'll have a different one. That's what Prabhupada says here. Bhagavad-Gita as it is. So this knowledge, especially the middle chapters from chapter 7 till chapter 12, is very important, very confidential. Confidential because one can only understand this if one becomes submissive, especially hearing. Most of the times they don't want to hear. The more one is eager to hear, the more one will be making gradual advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hearing and at the same time applying what we've learned. Just like a science is like that. You hear, that is first class knowledge. You hear and then you apply. Second class is through experience, experimenting. And third class is that you hear and you experience and still you don't learn. Because you think that because of your own strength, your opulence, your wealth, your intelligence, material intelligence that can save you. But no, not really. So when one comes to the conclusion that one will take up to this process of bhakti yoga, then this is the complete yoga, the highest perfectional stage of life. And therefore, we're very, very fortunate. We're very fortunate. One time Prabhupada was asked, which is better? To help others become Krishna conscious or to try to go back home, back to Godhead? Which is better? To help others become Krishna conscious or to go back home, back to Godhead? Huh? To help others. Prabhupada says, if you are so eager to help others, especially like book distribution or prasadam distribution or chanting the holy name of the Lord, kirtan, Hari Kirtan, Prabhupada says, you don't need to endeavor to go back home, back to Godhead. You're already in Vaikuntha. There is no extra endeavor. There's no endeavor that to say, oh, but as Prabhupada says, higher than trying to help others become Krishna conscious is that make sure that you yourself is Krishna conscious. Be sure you are Krishna conscious, and in this way it will be effective. If you want to stay in Krishna consciousness for the rest of your life, then you have to use your intelligence. Prabhupada says, lazy intelligent, not busy fool. I've seen some devotees, they're like so busy, going up and down. The whole day practically, but then they burnt themselves. You know what I mean by burnt? They fry themselves. In ISKCON, we have this language or lingo. I'm fried. Fried, like what, samosa or something? Or pakora? You're fried. Fried means you should have some time also in cultivating your own Krishna consciousness. It's not just, like the whole day you're busy, but then you don't have time to read Prabhupada's books. Your chanting of the holy name of the Lord is distracted. Because when we chant the holy name of the Lord, we should only thinking of the holy name of the Lord. Thinking of Krishna and become absorbed with the sound vibration. To think of what you're going to do to serve Krishna and the Vaishnavas the day while you're chanting, the whole day, and you're chanting and you're thinking like that, that means your chanting is not attentive. That means you may be thinking, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. It's like, say you're a pujari. Okay, tomorrow this is what I'm going to prepare, the dress, the colors, the ornaments, the crown, and you're chanting. Is that good or not? No, it's not. When you chant, you just chant. That is proper chanting. That you can do later on. Sometimes I've seen devotees, they have, like small notebook and a pen, and then they'll chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Then they'll put it up, they start writing again. Then they'll put it up. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, 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 Ram. Oh, yes, I remember. That is not chanting. It is chanting, but inattentive chanting. which means that the progress in Krishna consciousness is not as desirable as it should be. It has to be focused, fixed. If we are fixed in everything that we're doing, it's not whimsically. If you want to serve Krishna and the Vaishnavas, and we're doing it whimsically means just to get things done. I've seen in some temples it's like that, They do service very whimsical, in a way that actually other devotees are getting affected. That means they're not conscious. Krishna consciousness means you have to be conscious first, then you'll become Krishna conscious. Conscious first, that means you have to use your intelligence in such a way that others are not disturbed what you're doing, and actually you'll be able to help others. As we read this morning, Mangalartik time, how does one act to be a devotee? By acting in such a way, being a good example for others. There's a saying in action speaks louder than voice, right? The more we are conscious of what we're doing for Krishna and for the devotees, then the more we make advancement in Krishna consciousness. And that is devotional service. You're conscious. So, working for Krishna, the more we are engaged in Krishna consciousness sincerely, without any self-motivation, then Krishna from within our heart will give us the intelligence to ultimately come to Him. We'll make progress on the path of self-realization. One just needs to be sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service. The inhabitants of Vrindavan are like that. They're fully conscious of Krishna. They don't think for themselves. They only think of Krishna 24 hours a day. This is what I mean by Krishna conscious. A person who's Krishna conscious is always thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day, favorably, in favor. Unlike Kangsha. He's thinking of Krishna also 24 hours, but unfavorable. Not in a favorable way. So we should try to engage ourselves as much as possible in Krishna consciousness, so that ultimately the fruits of our activities, we don't have to endeavor to go back home, back to Godhead, as we mentioned earlier. You are already in Vaikuntha. You're ready with Krishna. So the goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, but we have to do our part. Others, they don't do as much as they can. Especially if one is engaged in some kind of fruitive activities. Sometimes devotees, they get entangled. Sometimes they will say, oh, I'm doing this for Krishna. Right? But then they get entangled, and then they started to go farther and farther away. I met one devotee. I used to know him when he was brahmachari. But now he's grihasta. And he's living outside of India. And I asked him, do you know this devotee? You know this devotee? But he lives in that city. He says, no. Then I understood immediately that he doesn't come to the temple. And he will only come to the temple on Janmashtami or Gaur Purnima or when there is a Ratha Yatra. When I used to live in Canada, and I know some devotees, they live like 10 minutes away, but you will never see them also. So that means they become diverted. They probably do puja at home, but without association of the devotees, then one can be easily ensnared by the material energy. And this is very, very difficult to overcome. Especially here, I mentioned also that association of devotees is very important. So we're very fortunate. Somehow you are in Vrindavan. We are in Vrindavan. But are we here mentally also? Conscious-wise also? Or are we thinking of something else? Or you forgot wherever you came from. So the proper way of how to engage oneself while being here in Vrindavan is to be more absorbed in hearing and chanting, especially attend the classes and chant more. The potency of one's performing devotional service here is 1,000 times more than outside of Vrindavan. But one must be very careful also, especially committing offenses to the inhabitants. Don't get too close to the inhabitants of Vrindavan. I mean the local wallas, local people. It's like monkeys. Don't get too close to the monkey. The monkey can do nonsense. Just leave them alone. Let them do what they're doing, because we cannot fully understand them. And as Prabhupada says, as much as possible, stay in the four walls, within the four walls of the Krishna Balaram Mandir. Don't go to Loy Bazaar every day. If you want to forget Krishna, you can go to Loy Bazaar while being in Vrindavan. You can be easily distracted there. You can spend hours and hours there and not knowing time passed so fast, and having good relationship with the Vaishnavas or association with the devotees is here. Okay, so always engaged, satata. Those who are always engaged, these are pure devotees. From text 8 to text 11, this is a description of a devotee in the highest platform. And one can attain this as well. It's just a due course of time. As Prabhupada says, this is a gradual process. Gradual means we have to be careful not to slip away. Slipping away, as Prabhupada says, if one becomes enamored by the material energy, then it may take millions of lifetimes to come back to the process. But hope against hope, this is our only hope, that somehow we'll be able to make it in this lifetime. Prabhupada gave an example, just like the sparks of the fire. As long as the sparks is near the fire, then it will have the same quality as the fire, heat and light. But as soon as the sparks get close outside, and then it will lose that same nature of the fire. The Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. Even though he's not intelligent. He's not intelligent enough. But one's sincerity and devotion is needed. Okay, I'll stop here. Do you have any questions, comments? Yes, Prabhu? Is there any mic? Bhakta mic? Bhakta mic is not here. I only have one mic here. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for the nice class. Kind of a two-part. Yeah, it's kind of a two-part question.
Keep it closer to your.
Okay. Kind of a two-part question. Listening.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
You asked the question where Prabhupada asked, is it better to become? Oh yeah. Is it better for ourselves to endeavor to go back to Godhead, or to help others?
Yes.
And then you said if one is endeavoring to help others, he doesn't have to separately endeavor to go
Yeah.
back to Godhead.
Yes.
And then you said it's best for ourselves, first of all, to become Krishna conscious.
That's right.
That's the first one.
That's right.
And then you were mentioning lazy intelligence and how there's so many busy devotees, and they're so busy sometimes they lose track of actually focusing on what why they're even busy. So my question is, in the West, we're distributing books, and sometimes it takes all of our consciousness. We have to maintain the vehicle, we have to order more books, find places to distribute. It takes a lot of energy to do that.
Right.
We still chant our rounds in the morning, we still try to find time to read, but it seems like we're extremely busy doing that activity.
Yeah.
But also Prabhupada said that if you're busy doing that activity, that's good busyness. But sometimes I find myself, we're talking to so many people throughout the day, my consciousness gradually kind of goes lower and lower until I take a day off and I take hours to read. But when I come here, I feel more absorbed, I chant more, I read more. So it seems like here I'm more Krishna conscious than in the West when I'm distributing books. So how can I balance the two? Or how can I take that same absorption that I get here and bring it to the West while I'm doing my service?
What I will do is that if I'm distributing books, or if I'm absorbed, or if I'm busy trying to make arrangements, my meditation is this is like a feeling of separation from the holy Dham. Prabhupada says also that engagement in Sankirtan is not different than rasa dance. It's his highest. You help others. So you should meditate also that, I wish that time will come. But a little bit of austerity, I have to do this, especially during winter time. You have to distribute books. Your meditation at the same time is you have to do what you have to do, but your goal ultimately is to go back to Vrindavan or Mayapur. That's why Prabhupada says that Sankirtan devotees, not just Sankirtan devotees, all devotees, especially from the West, should come every year to the Holy Dham to get your spiritual battery recharged. It's like you have, nowadays you have these rechargeable batteries. You need to recharge this. So everything that you do, if you're focused in the Sankirtan, you're focused in becoming Krishna conscious at the same time. And that's why we've heard the other day, and this is true. I mean, the best time that, going outside, doing Sankirtan is like the best time of my experience in Canada. I used to travel with, because I was the only brahmachari left. Most of the brahmacharis are gone, temple. So I traveled with devotees from Boston, Philadelphia, New York. Yes. I traveled with them for many years in the early 90s till middle of 90s. And yes, we're always busy. At the same time, we know that that day will come when we have to go to India also and get. So your meditation should be like this. It is not being fruitive. It is just, like a break. But a longer break instead of like once a week break during Sankirtan, right? But you'll have a longer break. You have a 1 month, sometimes 2 months. So whenever I come here in Vrindavan, I always pray, oh, please let me come back again next year. That was my prayer. But then later on, my prayer became different. Oh, I wish I can stay here. But we're not encouraging everyone to stay in Vrindavan. Your engagement in Sankirtan out there is so valuable, so important. That is the same as being in Vrindavan. Your separation between where you are and the holy Dham is like the topmost. It's like Vipralamba, Viraha. You cannot wait to come back again to see Vrindavan or Mayapur, Jagannath Puri. So it should give you impetus to really do your service so nicely, so wonderful, that you make devotees by your distribution of books. If you make one devotee at least, it's guaranteed. This is your ticket to go back home, back to Godhead. Of all the books that you've given, hundreds, maybe thousands, right? In Warp Tour, Van's Warp Tour. If one of them become devotee, you'll go back home, back to Godhead. This we read again this morning. What is the happiness of the devotee, of a devotee, right? You remember? You remember what we read this morning? What is the happiness of a devotee? If he makes at least one sincere devotee. That is the topmost. Prabhupada says, we've heard the other day also. Worship of deity is important. Prasadam distribution is important. But he says of our main service, family business, is book distribution. So you're very fortunate somehow. You're distributing books. But here we don't have to go out. People come. Our everyday here in Vrindavan is like Janmastami for other temples. Once a year you'll have this kind of people, number of people coming to your temple. Yes. If you're in anxiety, that's good. Being in anxiety for Krishna means you are making advancement. Materialists are anxiety for their material desires to be fulfilled. So that is not healthy. That is destructive. That will keep them in the material world again and again for a long time. So the more we are in anxiety, the more we perform austerities for the pleasure of Shiguru, Hari and Vaishnavas, then guaranteed you're not an ordinary soul. So that's all right. That's actually admirable. That is wanted. That is wanted. Anyway, is that okay? Yeah? Which temple you from? Oh yeah, right. I was there. We were there last summer. I gave a Sunday feast class. Instead of Prabhupada's giving class, I gave the Sunday feast, and Prabhupada gave class the next day in San Francisco. Anything else? Yes, sir. From Vedic, Rupanuga, Vedic. You have the mic. It's okay. You can ask. His next.
Okay. I just wanted to ask if there is.
How come it's it's too loud for him? Yours is not. It's okay. Go ahead.
Is there a difference between Karma Yoga, the third chapter, and the fifth chapter? Is it the same?
Karma Yoga means action in for fruitive. Karma means the action that one performs. There is a reaction. But the fifth chapter is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Both are the same, but at the same time different. Because it's more specifically focused that if we're engaged in some fruitive activities, it should be dovetailed into Krishna consciousness. Because ultimately, yoga, as Prabhupada says, any types of yoga will not become successful if there is no bhakti, a little bit of bhakti in there. Okay, that is the missing link. Yeah, it's more focus. Yes. Anything else? Over there at the back. Yes, Prabhu.
I have the answer from me, so
Huh?
somebody else. I just got my answer to my question.
Who answered your question?
Yeah.
You answered your own question? Okay, that's good. That's good. Oh, here. Jita Korda Prabhu from Russia. Is it Nizhny? No. You're from Nizhny? Yaroslav. I only gets mixed up in Golden Circle here. Yes. Another book distributor from Russia.
You said that bhakti doesn't depend from the...
How is it different again? Go ahead. Bhakti?
Bhakti doesn't depend of knowledge, from knowledge.
Was that no? It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. Buddhi yoga is bhakti yoga.
If we text A, then we see that knowledge about God, devotional service is follows. You say bhakti that doesn't depend from knowledge.
Yes, it doesn't depend. It only depends on your sincerity, love, your love. But at the same time, because we don't have love, we need to understand the Bhagavad-Gita. Right? Now, if you already have love, you still would like to read the Bhagavad-Gita because it's about Krishna and his devotees. You understand? Gyan and Vairagya. They don't, bhakti doesn't depend on Gyan and Vairagya. There's so many renounced people, sadhus, but do they know the conclusion? Mayavadis are renounced. Mayavadis, they are very knowledgeable. Like, who is that? Hiranyakashipu. He know the Vedas. He know the Vedas, but he doesn't know the conclusion. Vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sadurlabha. So, but because we don't have love, we have to cultivate knowledge under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That is the missing link again. You can read the medical textbooks, but you cannot become a doctor. You have to go to a college and you have to learn the textbook from a professor who understood medical terms and all these things.
But who is the spiritual master? It is that who gives you knowledge.
Yeah, he's the one who dissipates your knowledge. That's why tad bigyanartam sa gurum ibabi gachet. If you're interested in this getting out of this material world, going back to Godhead, you need to approach. Because you need that knowledge. Sambandha abhideyam prayojana. and the guru can give you this. But you have to fly your own kite. You know what that means? Fly your own kite. The knowledge is going to be given to you, but you're the one who's going to apply those knowledge. We can hear and hear and hear, but we don't apply to ourselves. Then it goes here and then comes out here. Real knowledge means realized knowledge. Realized knowledge means you apply to yourself. So Guru is there, and also at the same time, the Chaitya Guru from within, the Paramatma gives you knowledge also. The more you are engaged, then Krishna will tell you what to do. Prabhupada knows what to do, but sometimes he would ask his disciples, what is your opinion? Tell me. Can you give me a suggestion? Our Guru Maharaj is like that also. The pure devotees of the Lord, they are being dictated by the Paramatma, and they can hear Paramatma. Now we cannot hear really, because our mind is turbulent, our mind is disturbed, we're not peaceful. It says, when one's mind is completely controlled, then the super soul is already reached. Okay? So the mind has, this is the first duty of a spiritualist, to control the mind and the senses. Once this is fully controlled in senses coming from the knowledge given by the spiritual master, then we'll be able to also hear. But sometimes the spiritual master says, what do you think? Shall we go today or tomorrow? Shall we go to that city or the other city? But actually they know. But just to confirm. Just to confirm. But for us, I know what to do. We don't ask, what do you think, Prabhu? We don't do like that. Usually we don't. Unless, we have a good friend, close friend. We're so puffed up. We will tell to ourselves, I know what to do. But it's not from Paramatma, it's your mind telling you. You should do this, you should do that. And usually we're wrong. So to confirm, this is the mode of goodness actually. When you ask someone, Prabhuji, what do you think? Mataji, what do you think about this? I'm planning to do this. What do you think? A mode of goodness. Mode of passion, patapat, quick, jaldi, immediately. Right? So if you don't really know what to do, ask Guru. But Guru is many also. At the same time. Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru. But Guru is one at the same time because disciplic succession. So one must be very careful before when one makes a decision. Now your Guru may be very, very far. You can inform him, but there is some advanced senior devotees around. You can ask them also as well. Confident enough that you can reveal your mind to them. That is sadhu sangha. That is not like nowadays. Sadhu sangha means, Prabhuji, how are you? I'm fine. And you? I'm okay. Hare Krishna. that is not sadhu sangha. That's not sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha means revealing one's mind, accepting one's, advice, giving gifts, receiving gifts, and taking prasad, and also, but nowadays it's the other way. You just want to take prasad. You don't give prasad. I'm not talking about you, but this is the general tendency nowadays. That's not Vaishnava association. Yes. Anybody else have a question? Yes, Mataji.
I'd like to say something to the devotee regarding Sankirtan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My experience, that happens when
Where's the mic? Give the mic to her.
setting a lot of books, but not doing sadhana, and then you spend
Yeah, no, your sadhana. Your sadhana is number one. Yes. You cannot sacrifice your sadhana in the name of I want to distribute. I want to be the number one book distributor. I want to be like the highest, having the highest score this week. And then you miss your, or you're sleeping during japa time. No, no, no. You cannot sacrifice those things. That's why Prabhupada says highest is saving yourself first. If you don't do that, then you're not going to be able to last for a long time.
because even in the past I saw many books,
Yeah,
days, and
yeah.
I didn't even finish my rounds. And you can sell books materially.
Yeah, no, no, no.
So the priority
You'll get
is-
easily agitated. If you don't read that day, or if you don't chant your rounds properly, you get agitated. You must take this book. You have to take this book. That happened to me in New York City. There was a young boy, and I thought this is the best target for today. But he's so puffed up. So I want to be, I really want him. So I became more puffed up than him. He says, no, take this book. I cannot do anything. No potency there. So we have to focus first on our sadhana and reading and all these things. And in this way, we pray to the super soul within the heart of that prospective recipient of the book to please tell him to take the book. We pray to the super soul residing on that person. Yes.
And also sometimes they do too many hours. Because I was some
Too many hours. That is during
10
marathon.
hours or something like
That's
that.
during
But
marathon time. We go early in the morning and we come back late at night. But the ecstasy is the longer you go, the longer you stay, then the better it goes.
It depends if you consciousness.
Yeah. Well, when you're distributing a lot of books, then it gets better and better. You don't want to go home. You just want to stay there and have the Sankirtan band comes again the next day, and you just keep waiting. Yeah, sometimes like that. You have a good day. It's like you don't want to take prasad, no break. You don't want to lose the momentum. But there are days when our consciousness is not good, so it's better we stop and read a little bit. Yeah, and then go back. We stop here. There's another Sankirtan devotee from Germany. Are you from Germany, Prabhu? Yeah? Oh, check. Oh, you're with Manidhar, Prabhu? You know Manidhar, Prabhu. You're Sankirtan devotee also? Book distribution? Jai. Prasadam ki Jai. Okay, we stop here. Thank you very much. We pray to the Supreme Lord that somehow give us more and more intelligence so that someday we'll become Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna.